Hello, hello.
Yes, yes, please.
Hello.
Yes. Who is there online?
Sir, myself,
So
Bijan
please
Vedas, sir.
switch. Okay, no problem. Please switch off your
Sir,
microphone because we have not started the class yet. Okay. If you switch off your microphone, then
okay, sir.
the feedback
Sir,
noise will not come and you can listen to us very clearly. Okay.
sir.
Please switch off your microphone. There is a small link, microphone link there on the screen. Please just click it so that it will be muted. Dear students, please write your name and enrollment number in the chat box because that will be considered as your attendance. Let us wait for some time. Let us wait for some time because many students have not joined so far. Only 50%, not 50%, around 50 students have joined. So maybe they will be in the process of joining. Please wait. Vision Bihari Das, please mute your video also, audio video both, so that the image will not hang and you can see us. Okay. When you'll be asked to speak, then you switch on your audio video both and speak. Dr. Joyce Nanda, are you online?
Yes, sir.
Your video is not switched on. Yes, now your video is coming.
Okay,
Okay.
sir.
Okay, it is already 2:10. Let us start the meeting. So
Okay, sir.
before we proceed on presenting our topics, let me first of all welcome you to this online classroom of Indira Gandhi National Open University. And I am also welcoming all the learners of B.Ed program to in this particular group, that means group B. The learners of 5 program study centers are attached. There are 90 people joined so far, and we expect many more to join subsequently. Dear students, all of you know that we have been organizing this online counseling classes since last so many days. Since 29th of March, we have been organizing these web counseling sessions for different programs altogether. And for that, we are inviting different resource persons to take care of different subjects. As announced to you earlier, that we shall be inviting a new counselor for presenting on BES-123, that is learning and teaching. So we have invited Dr. Joyasri Nanda. She is an experienced teacher, and she has taught BA honors and of course B.Ed students of Indira Gandhi Open University in Narnia Devi Training College. And she's an active counselor. She's an empaneled active counselor in this particular subject. Therefore, she is very much here online, and she will be talking to you about teaching and learning. So before I hand over the classroom to Dr. Joyasri Nanda, let me speak a few words about teaching and learning. You see, we all are teachers, and the teacher's first and foremost duty is to see that proper learning takes place. And time was there, when the entire teaching learning was revolving around the teacher. But now the scenario has changed, and the teaching learning situation is now revolving around the learner. Therefore, the teachers have also changed their strategy. What kind of strategy? The strategy is that every learner is put in the focus. Every learner in the class or in any teaching learning situation is put in the focus, and the teachers are trying to create conditions. Teachers are trying to create different learning situations, and the learner is learning in a totally different way, isn't it? Earlier, there used to be only chalk and talk method with, and that was happening inside the classroom. Now, the classroom activities have been limited to a great extent. It has been limited, and more activities, teaching learning activities are taking place outside the classroom environment. For example, the learner is allowed to, go to different websites, get resources, isn't it? Learning resources, and upgrade his or her knowledge and skills. And now parents are also trying their level best to feed their children academically. I'm not talking of only feeding them physically, but feeding them mentally and academically. So, things are changing. There is a paradigm shift. In the morning also it was taught that there is a complete paradigm shift from teaching to learning. It is not teaching which is important, it is learning which is important. When you will complete your B.Ed program and go back to your respective schools for teaching, so please remember one thing, that you are not teachers. You are just like a facilitator. You have to facilitate learning, because learning is prime and your learner is in the focus, isn't it? We are insignificant because we should always remain in the background of the scene. The classroom, if the classroom is just like a drama stage, the real actors and actresses are our children, our learners. And as a teacher, we have to remain in the background. Okay, so that thing you please keep in mind and proceed, so that you'll be remembered by every learner for a pretty long time, and proper learning will take place. Our purpose is not to spoon feed the learner. Our purpose as a teacher is not to spoon feed. Our purpose is to create conditions and see that real learning takes place in the learner, so that the learner will be able to march ahead. So Dr. Joyasri Nanda will take care of this teaching and learning. Of course, this teaching and learning is based on many psychological aspects. I was just looking at the study material which is available in the website. So many psychological aspects have been presented in block 1. So she will be talking about block 1. So Dr. Nanda, if you could start your presentation by giving a small introduction of the unit, not unit, the block. That means
Okay, sir.
what are the units which are available in that particular block, isn't it? And please just give a cursory glance. Otherwise, it will not be possible to cover the entire subject, entire
Yes,
teaching content, learning
yes,
content presented in block 1. Just give a cursory glance, so that every aspect is touched. And after the session, we'll take up the questions. So
okay, sir.
all the students are requested not to intervene in between. Listen to Dr. Joyasri Nanda patiently. And when I announce to write your questions in the chat box, please write your questions in the chat box. And I will personally take up the questions one after another. And those questions will be clarified. So over to Joyasri Nanda. Please take over.
Thank you, sir, for your beautiful presentation about teaching and learning. So I am assigned with BES-123, that is learning and teaching. I think all of you very much known about the fact that what is teaching and what is learning. Because we are all teachers, we know very well what is teaching and what is learning. But I am assigned with these assignments, so I have to clarify. The first thing is what is learning or what is education. Sometimes we are confused with these two terms, learning and education. So, what is learning and what is education? Two things first we must clarify. So, according to psychologists, that education is the modification of behavior, and we also said that learning is also modification of behavior. But how learning is different from education? Actually, education is the process of receiving or giving systematic instruction, especially in a formal system, in a formal setting. Whereas learning, we learn from anywhere, from any place, from any person. Like we can also learn from the mountain, from the rivers, from our surroundings, even from a small ant, Pimpudi, the Piplika, we learn so many things like the activeness, discipline, integrity, honesty, all these qualities we learn from a simple ant. So learning is very broad, very, very broad. Whereas education is a narrow thing. We just taking education just to get a degree, or a certificate. But learning is lifelong. Learning is continuous. So learning starts from the birth of the child and continues till the death. So we can say that learning is from womb to tomb. Womb means from the mother's womb, and tomb means the death place. So it is a learning is a continuous process. So many psychologists, they have given different definitions. Like Horlock has given, learning is development that comes from exercise and effort. Learning comes from exercise and effort. And like that, Murphy has also given, the term learning covers every modification in behavior to meet environmental requirements. So many other psychologists, they have also given different types of definition. But we can conclude that what learning is. Learning is learning is not acquired by birth, and learning is temporary change in behavior. Temporary change in behavior is not learning. Like if I am ill and I behave rudely, then you may not tell that I always behave rudely. So rudeness is not my characteristics, but it changes according to the time, according to the situation, or according to so many reasons. So change of behavior is not learning, or temporary change of behavior is not learning. Learning always gives us permanent change. Then we can say learning is a process. How? What is a process? Process means which is continuous, which is a continuous thing, which never stops, which never ends in a particular stage. That is continuous. So learning always continues till the end of our life. Till the end of life, we are also learning how to operate a mobile phone, how to operate a what is said, that is switchboard, the electronic devices. So we learn so many things till the end of our life. So what is the difference between education and learning? Education, it generally takes place under the guidance of an experienced person. But learning learning doesn't require any educator or guidance. It is a self process. Then education is prompted by extrinsic motivation, whereas learning is prompted by intrinsic motivation. That means we learn by ourselves. But in education, some teachers are there who taught us. Then education is a systematic process. The curriculum is there, the syllabus is there, the extracurricular activities are there. But in learning, learning is not a systematic process. There is no systematic thing. So we learn from anywhere, from the cinema hall, from our home, from our family members, from our friends, from our surroundings, from the park. So everywhere we can learn. Then education is received up to a certain age, but learning is a lifelong process. We get education. You are all taking admission in B.Ed. That means that stops at a particular level. After 2 years, you may complete your B.Ed. But learning is lifelong. Then come how learning is a process. Learning goes through 6 stages. First, in learning process, the learner, he acquires the knowledge, or acquisition of new knowledge and experience is the first stage. Then the second stage is retention of old experiences in the form of impressions, engrams, or skills. What we acquire, what we learn, again we retain it. Then the third stage is development and modification of experiences. What type of experiences we get, that is modified. Because sometimes we gain some experiences which may be true, may not be true, may be positive, may not be positive. But afterwards, when we are very much clear about that is not a good experience, that is not right, again we modify our behavior or modify our experiences. Then learning is growth of experiences. Learning also works as a, or growth Learning is the growth of experiences. And the fourth thing is, fifth thing is, learning is the creation of new experiences. So we are learning every day, one after one, and we create some new experiences. Then the last thing is, learning is the synthesis and organization of the old and the new experiences. What old experiences we have in childhood, nowadays we are changing that experience with the present experiences, because now we are mature human beings. So we know what is good, what is bad, and accordingly we change our behavior. Then, what is the nature of learning? We know about what is learning, and now we'll discuss what is the nature of learning. First is, learning is progressive change in the behavior. Learning is the progressive change in behavior, may be favorable or may not be favorable or unfavorable. That means what changes occurs in an individual or in a learner, that may be favorable or may not be favorable. Then that means all positive and negative things, all are learning. So positive things are favorable and negative things are unfavorable. Then learning is adjustment. So through learning, we adjust properly in our environment. We learn that situation is not good, how to act, how to behave. That is also learning. I just want to show you one video about how learning is adjustment. Look at this. Is it visible to everyone? So you see a video where some children, small kids, they are going to their school. That is the Chinese children. They know how to adjust in the school, because due to this pandemic, they dropped from their school for the last 3-4 months. Now they are going to their school with mask, with sanitization. So they adjust with the new situation, how to sanitize their hands and how to keep social distancing, and they just going to their school. Then that means learning is adjustment. So according to the situation, according to the need of the hour, we adjust ourselves with a new situation. Then the next thing is, learning is purposeful or goal oriented. Learning is purposeful or goal oriented. How learning is purposeful or goal oriented? We learn, we have some goals or aims in our life. You are all taking admission in B.Ed classes. That means you have an aim, you have the goal. I just complete my B.Ed class. Then that means my job will be permanent if I will complete my B.Ed. Then I may get 2 more increments. So these are the goals. You keep some goals in your mind and you learn. And that is called education. But learning is, sometimes learning is different, but we can, in narrow sense, we can say learning is goal oriented. Then learning is need based. Learning is need based means according to need of the hour, according to the requirement, we also learn. If you have a passion for driving, then you take admission in a driving school and you want to learn driving. You take admission in the driving school and you learn driving, and from that driving skill, you can get a salary, or you can income, that may be your income source. So learning is need based. Then learning is universal. So what is universal? Universal means learning is for everyone, but the pace of learning is different. Learning is for everyone, but there is individual difference. No two individuals are equal in any type of psychological traits. So according to our speed or according to our pace, according to our intelligence level, according to our psychological traits, according to our curiosity, according to our attitude, aptitude, interest, we learn. So there is a difference. There is the pace of learning is different. That means there is a pace of learning. Then the learning is an active process. Now learning is an active process. At the time of learning, no one is inactive or passive. Everyone is active. When we are learning how to do this, what we can do, what should be done. So many things comes to our mind and we are actively doing that. So at the time of learning, we became very, very, very active. No passiveness is there, no laziness is there. You are all learning now in a classroom. I think nobody is sleeping now. All are active. Then learning is intelligent and creative. Actually, learning, intelligence, and creativity, these are some types of psychological traits. These are all present in all human beings, that, but their presence varies from individual to individual. But learning is intelligent and creative, creative means learning makes or develops the intelligence level of the students, and learning also develops the creativity level of the students. If someone is intelligent and he learns again, then his level of intelligence may develop, may increase. Like that, the creativity level also increases due to learning. Then learning affects the conduct of the learner. It's a very important thing that when we are saying that learning is a modification of behavior, that means learning helps us to modify our behavior, to modify our conduct, our character. When we learn that these are the moral ethics, these are the values, we should have adopted. This is good, this is bad. When we have that analytical mind just to differentiate between what is good and what is bad, at that time we learn we should take the good things, the good values, the good etiquettes, and that means learning helps us to develop for our all-round development, and it also help for creation of our character or modification of our character. Then learning is the product of the environment. So learning is not the education is the product of classroom, we can say, because it is formal setting. But learning is we learn informally. That means learning is a product of environment. We learn so many things from the environment, from trees, from mountains, from rivers, from our friends, from our family members, from the unknown persons. So from everywhere, every living and non-living things that gives us experiences and that gives us learning. That is education or that is learning. We learn so many things informally. And that is called the product of environment. Then learning is transferable. How learning is transferable? In the childhood, you learn cycling. And that cycling help you to drive a motorcycle or scooter or a moped. That means you're learning transferred from one situation to another situation. So in the early childhood, you learn so many things, and in later period, that learning helps you in some different situation. Suppose you don't know how to operate a computer, but when you know how to operate a Android phone, and automatically that knowledge help you to operate a computer. So learning is transferable. Then instincts and reflexes are not learning. So what is instincts and what is reflexes? Instinct means what is the inborn qualities, like sucking of a baby, blinking of the eyes. These are not learning. These are born talents, born characters, born behaviors. So we may not say these are learning. So instincts and reflexes are not learning. Learning is multidimensional. Learning is not single dimensional. It is multidimensional. Why it is multidimensional? Because we learn so many things from so many sources. Not from one source, not from book, not from computer, not from social media. We learn from various media, from various sources, like from cinema, books, newspapers, from your friends, from your family members, from the playground, from your church, from the church, from the temple. So we learn so many things from so many sources, natural and unnatural, both. So that means learning is multidimensional. Then learning is problem solving. That is an important thing. When we learn so many things that help us to solve our problems. Nobody is free from problems. So in our day-to-day life, we are facing so many problems in our day-to-day life. And that learning help us how to solve the problem. Our problems, we can categorize our problems into two different things. One is simple, another is complex. Simple problems generally are solved by ourselves, and complex problems that when we are facing complex problems, we take the help of some experienced person. So learning help us how to solve our day-to-day problems, because nobody is free from problems. Suppose now we are all now facing this pandemic, COVID-19. Then how to get rid of that? Because this is a very big problem for the world. So what precautionary measures we can take to fight against COVID-19? We learn those precautionary measures like using masks and washing our hands properly, then keep social distancing. So all these are some precautionary measures that we learn from the environment, from the TV, from radio, or from some experts. So learning is problem solving. So these are the nature of learning. Then comes what is learning and maturation. You know, one important word that is always used in psychology, that is maturation. So what that maturation is? Actually, maturation is a biological thing. Maturation, and how maturation is different from learning. Maturation is a natural process, it's a biological process, whereas learning is a process which is done by the learner by itself. So, what is the difference between learning and maturation? Learning is a mental process. Learning mainly is a mental process, whereas your maturation is both mental and physical process. Then, learning is a process of acquiring knowledge, skills, and behaviors through experience, training, and education. Whereas maturation is a process of becoming mature or developed both mentally and physically. Then learning happens through experience, practice, training, or education. But maturation occurs through individual growth. It is a biological process. So it occurs through individual growth. Then learning happens because of external stimuli. Learning happens because of external stimuli, like our surrounding, mass media, everything. But maturation does not need any external stimuli. It is internal. It is a biological process. So maturation means uh, according to Horlock, maturation is the unfolding of characteristics potentially present in the individual that come from individual's genetic endowment, while learning is development that comes from exercise and effort. According to Horlock, it's a genetic thing, but it is an external thing we learn from our surrounding. Then, what is learning and teaching? We know so many things. What is learning? We know that how learning happens. It is an external process. It comes from our surrounding. But what is teaching? Teaching and learning both are very much related. Now I am teaching, and as a learner, you are learning. That means an experienced person gives some informations, instructions, and you learn those things. But what is teaching? Teaching is a system of actions which induce learning through interpersonal relationship. Generally, teaching takes place in the classroom. So, two types of persons are there. One experienced person who is called as the teacher. He is in one side, and in the opposite side, learners or the students, they are sitting. So it is an interpersonal relationship, or it is a system of action which induce learning through interpersonal relations. And we can say that learning is also scientific as well as artistic. Sorry, teaching is scientific as well artistic. Scientific means what constitute good teaching, and we can call it as artistic because it varies from person to person. Scientific means when a particular topic is presented before you, the same view may not come. The view may vary from teachers to teachers. That means that is art. But science means the same thing will be told by everyone, because in science always believe in cause and effect relationship. So in science reliability is there, but in arts the views varies. So teaching, we may say it as a science and as well as an art. Then what is learning and imprinting? Imprinting is a term was first used by Austrian ethnologist Konrad Lorenz in 1930, and he said that in his initial experiment he demonstrated that ducklings and goslings follow the mother after hatching. After hatching, the ducklings, they just follow their mother, and after some days, Konrad Lorenz, he just replaced the mother with some moving object like football, and the same thing happened. All the ducklings, they just follow the moving thing, the football. So imprinting means that is also a natural behavior that was learned by the ducklings after their birth. So that is learning by imprinting. Then what are the various dimensions of learning? There are 5 dimensions of learning. First is attitude and perception. Then the second thing is acquire and integrate knowledge. Then the third thing is extend and refine knowledge. And the fourth thing is use knowledge meaningfully. Then habits of mind. So first, attitude and perception means before learning, a learner should have a positive attitude, positive perception towards learning. He should possess some curiosity. You should have some curiosity, some positive attitude towards learning. Then only learning will be possible. Then the second thing is acquired and integrate knowledge. What knowledge we gain, we acquire, that should be integrated. Then the third thing is extend and refine knowledge. What knowledge or experience we gain from different situations, that should be refined. That should be refined, because in early days, in our early childhood days, we learn so many things that may be right or that may not be right. But afterwards, when we became mature, we can differentiate that that is not good or that is not correct or this is correct. I will give an example. Like when I was only 3 or 4 years and my elder brother, he was just 6 years, and we saw a grasshopper in our garden, and my brother, he come with that grasshopper, and we kept it in a box and give it so many foods like biscuits, breads, rotis, etc. with the aspiration that one day that grasshopper will become a parrot. So after 2-3 hours, a line of ants, they just go there to take the food. And my mother saw that. What happens? What is there in that box? so many ants are there. She just opened the box and see that a grasshopper is there. And she asked me, what is this? Who has done this? Who have done this? Who have done this? So I said, no, go, just don't do that. Haina kept this thing because that grasshopper will someday will become a parrot. That is a wrong concept I have, because only I see the color, that the grasshopper is green and the color of parrot is also green. So with the hope that the grasshopper after some days will become a parrot, and that knowledge is refined by a correct knowledge. That is the function or refine of knowledge. Then the fourth thing is use knowledge meaningfully. When we are acquiring knowledge, we should use that knowledge meaningfully, because our knowledge, our learning always give us opportunity to solve so many problems which we are facing in our day-to-day life. So use of knowledge is very much important. So when we learn something, that knowledge always gives us opportunity to solve so many problems which may occur in our day-to-day life. Then habits of mind. When we are acquiring some knowledge and we think that this is very good thing, then those learning or those experiences became our habits or became our hobby. Learning a book, doing exercise every day, dancing, singing. When we learn all these skills, after some days, that became our hobby. These are the 5 dimensions of learning. And all these 5 dimensions of learning do not operate in isolation, but work together. They do not work in isolation. They work together. Then, what is learning in social construct? Learning as a psychological and social construct. So, how learning is a psychological construct? The first is learning is defined as an activity that develops an individual irrespective of being good or bad. Suppose the adolescent boys, they see someone is smoking. They think smoking is maybe a very good thing, because they saw all these scenes in the cinema, in the serials. So they think that is to look dashing, or it may be a symbol of a good personality. So sometimes what they adopt these types of behavior and they just learn. But that may be good or not, that may be bad. When they become mature and they know that this is not a good thing, smoking is injurious to health. So in later period, they know that learning is not good, which he had learned in his adolescent period. Then learning as a social construct. Learning as a social construct means learning as a social construct is the outcome or interaction between people. So man is a social animal. He cannot live in isolation. Now we are living in isolation, but in our family. And that is the need of the hour. If someone is living in isolation, that is the need of hour. Someone is in quarantine. Someone is in the hospital. That is the requirement. If he will not in isolation, that he may spread the virus. So man is a social animal. Man always wants to mix with others, and he wants to share his knowledge, share his experiences from to another person. So man is by nature a social animal. That's why he wants to interact with people. So we can say learning is a social construct. And according to Bandura's process of observational learning, 4 things are there. First is attention, retention, behavioral relation, and motivation. First, we should give attention. Then, if we are attentive, then we learn something. And if we learn something, that is retention. We retain those learning. And if those learning is retained with us, then our behavior will change. Then if our behavior will change, again we are motivated to learn another thing. So attention, retention, behavioral rehearsal and motivation. These are the 4 steps of observational learning said by Bandura. Then learning styles. What are the learning styles? Different types of learning. We are very much aware of the word work, W-A-R-K. So what is work? Work first is visual learners, then A, auditory learners, R, reading or writing preference, and K, aesthetic learner. So work is the learning style and it is also the present day style. Then we come to the pace of learning. What is the pace of learning? Learning is a process which is universal but not same. How it is not same? Because no two individuals are equal in any type of characteristic. Suppose one, two friends, two bosom friends. One likes singing, one likes dancing, one likes cricket, one doesn't like that. So our interest, our intelligence level, our attitude, our aptitude, our creativity, everything is different. Like that, learning also different. All or the pace of learning also differs. Because some intelligent persons, they grasp the thing very easily, whereas all are not intelligent. All learners' IQ level is not same. Some are genius, some are above average, some are below average, some are normal, some are idiots, some are imbeciles. So our IQ level is not same. Like that, our pace of learning is not same. That is different. Because that is individual difference. Then what is the role of teacher? What is the role of teacher? Because teacher, we know nowadays teachers are not the sole authority or not the sole source of knowledge, because we learn so many things from our surrounding or informally. Formal settings, we are learning a very little things, but life skills, all other things we learn from the environment. So nowadays teachers are considered as the facilitators. Why facilitators? Yeah, they provide facility to the students. That's why we call him as the facilitators, because nowadays the IQ level of the learners is sometimes much more than the teachers. They learn so many things from the internet, from their friends, from newspapers, from books, from everywhere they learn. So they just clarify their knowledge, or to make their knowledge, make their learning permanent, they just take the help of the teacher who facilitates his learning. So teachers are working as the facilitators. So what is the role of teacher in the present day context? First, never present a lot of concepts at a time. Don't give lot of concepts, because concept development is an important thing. So clarity of concept should be there. Clarification should be there. So the teacher should not give so many or a lot of concept at a time. He gives concept one by one. Then the second thing is encourage learners to give examples based on their own experiences and observations. Because from our own experiences and observations, we learn very easily when we learn from the books. Because bookish knowledge doesn't impress us, or it has no impact upon us as we have our own experience. We learn so from our own experiences. When we feel a child goes to the fire and being hot, that meat or time warning strategy. Time limit or time warning strategy means the teacher will give some time. You just complete this topic within 5 minutes. Then I will see. And that develops a competitive mind among the students, and automatically learning will be speeder. Then, if the teacher um, gives some group work, in group work also learning is better, because in a group so many types of children are there. Some genius, some more intelligent, above average, average. So many different types of different IQ level students are there. So all shares their knowledge, their experience with each other, and they just do a project. So that is also a very good uh, technique of learning nowadays. Then the teacher should analyze the activity task before assigning to learner in terms of time required to complete the task and plan accordingly. That means before giving a project to the children, the teacher must see how much time it will take. He just do this and manage the things and plan the things accordingly, then give to the students the same project. Before planning, the teacher should not give the project to the children. Because if the teacher doesn't know that it will take 1 hour and he just give 40 minutes or 30 minutes to the students, then within that stipulated time, the children may not complete the project. So before giving the task to the student, the teacher must plan it properly. Then design some additional activities, exercises for learners. The teacher sometimes design some additional things. He should not only follow the syllabus, or the bookish knowledge is not the only knowledge. So he should go to the depth and give some more things or more activities to the children. Then, what are the modes of learning? Different modes of learning are there. First is through observation. Through observation. Observation or learning by observation, we can say that that is learning by observation. So by observation, seeing a thing rather it refers to the act of perceiving or observing the stimulus. Sometimes we observe so many things like cooking. Nowadays we learn cooking through this YouTube, etc. But in our age we learn from our mother, from our family members, how they cook. We observe them. What ingredients are required for a particular dish? What utensils are required? What should be the temperature of the flame? So all these things we observe, then we learn. So learning through observation, that is also a very good mode of learning. And in this observational learning, 4 steps are there: acquisition, retention, performance, and consequence. First we acquire knowledge, then retain it, then we do it, then see what is that. First we learn. शिखिले, बनेइले, देखिले केमती हला, ता टेस्ट केमती लाଗୁଛି. That means in observational learning, first we acquire knowledge how to cook, then we retain that knowledge, then we cook a particular dish, and after that we see what is the taste of that particular item. So this is all about observational learning. So in observational learning, that is good, and that is good for certain things, not for all types of things. Again, we can learn by imitation. So what is imitation? जोडको हम ओडिया रे कहूचे नकल करिबा. अन्य जन को नकल करिबा. Generally, small kids, they just imitate their parents. They imitate their teacher. I am your teacher. Just they use a glass, a stick, a pen, and said that I am a teacher. So through imitation also we learn so many things. Again, I want to show you a video for this. How a small kid imitates her parents how to wash her hands properly in this pandemic period. See this video. He imitated his parents that they are washing their hands again and again. For she doesn't know for 20 seconds, but she knows that for more time they are washing their hands. That's why she is looking here and there how much time she will wash her hands. She imitates his parents, her parents, and he washes her hands in this pandemic period. That is learning by imitation. Then learning by trial and error. That is a very common mode of learning. In our daily day-to-day life, through trial and error, we are doing so many things. So, what are the stages in trial and error theory of learning? First is need and drive. The first step is stage in need and drive. Second is the obstacle. Third is the random movement. Fourth is the chance of success. Fifth is the selection of successful responses. Then sixth is the repetition of successful movements. Seventh, the next stage is the reduction of time and error. And the last stage is fixation. So these are the 8 stages of trial and error theory of learning. Then learning by insight. To trial and error, when we are facing a problem, we take trial and trial. Again, we take so many trials, and after that, we get the success. And at the last time, we know that this is the correct response for this problem. That is trial and error. And learning by insight means human beings, they have intelligence, they have analyzing capacity. So all of a sudden, sometimes insight comes and we solve our problem. That is called learning by insight. So in learning by insight, the first thing is the learning perceives the situation in its totality or by whole. We should perceive the situation as a whole or in its totality. Second is the respondent, he analyzes the various aspects of the situation and tries to establish a meaningful relationship among them. So, the different aspects present in the situation, the respondents should see what is this, what is that, what is the relationship between all these things, and then he acts accordingly. You know the experiment of this chimpanzee. Then, what is the transfer of learning? Transfer of learning means what we learn, what experience we gain from a previous situation. We always use that experience, that learning in a new situation, in a new problem. When we are facing a new problem or in a new situation, we always use that previous knowledge, previous learning in the next or in the next situation. That is transfer of training and learning. I have already tell you that how cycling helps to drive a scooter or a moped. That is also transfer of training. So transfer of training and learning is of 3 types: positive transfer, negative transfer, and zero transfer. Positive transfer means when our previous learning or previous experience help us in the niche situation. That is positive experience. That is positive transfer of learning from one situation to another situation. A negative situation means when our previous learning doesn't help us to solve the problem, that is negative situation. And that negative zero learning or zero transfer of learning means if neither positive nor negative. The consequence is neither positive nor negative. That is zero transfer of learning. So next, what are the approaches of learning? The approaches of learning is when we can follow. There are three approaches. First is the surface approach. Second is deep approach, and third is strategic approach. Suppose at the time of exam, if someone, if some of your friend tell you that
there is some problem in
so
your
many other things are
connectivity.
also there.
There is some problem in your
You can
connectivity.
go through it.
Dr.
What you do?
Nanda.
Generally, no. These are not. These are out of.
Dr. Nanda, there is some connectivity issue.
This is not in my syllabus. So you.
Dr. Nanda, are you able to hear me?
Well, we just trust the to go through. Sir. Yes, sir.
No, actually, there is some connectivity problem from your side. Maybe there is some connection problem from your side. Maybe that internet connection is a little slow. Therefore, the audio is also breaking in between, and video is also getting freezed for some time.
Sir, am I audible?
Yes. Now you are audible. Now you are audible. Yes.
Sir,
Yes. Go ahead. Now you are audible. Please go ahead.
Yes. Yeah. Yes, sir. Okay, sir. So, three surface approach, deep approach, and strategic approach. Surface approach means when we are touching it in a little bit, but when we go to the deep, that is deep approach. Or when we are following both surface and deep approach, that is called the strategic approach. Then we can go through the behavioristic approach of learning. What is behavioristic approach? So, behavioristic approach is also called as associationistic school of psychology. Associationistic school of psychology school of psychology. Behaviorism is the root of associationistic school of psychology, and the major stages of behavioristic learning is first learning behavior or learning brings about change in our behavior. Then learning takes place in environment conditions and are arranged appropriately with general changes. Learning generally takes place in environmental conditions. Then the third thing is learning is the result of continuous interaction of the individual with the environment. Society, we interact with our surroundings, we interact with both living and non-living things, we cannot learn. So learning is a result of continual interaction of individual with his environment. So this is all about behavioristic learning. And you can say that what is the characteristics of behavioristic approach to learning? So the characteristics is, first is behavioristic believe in objective study of behavior. They believe in objective study of behavior, not subjective. They believe in objective study of behavior. And they include both animals and human beings. You know, in our psychological experiments, cats, chimpanzee, rat, rabbit, so many, all are included in our experiment. So behavioristic include animal and human beings both in their study. And the chief emphasis is on environment. Behavioristic give chief emphasis on environment because environment is the main factor who gives learning, through which human beings learns. So environment is the chief factor. Then conditioning is the key to the understanding of behavior. Conditioning is the key to the understanding of behavior. Then the next thing is the chief method of learning is condition. We learn through a condition, in a situation, in a particular situation, in a particular condition. Then behaviorists believe that one unit of knowledge gets associated with a new unit of knowledge by virtue of similarity, contrast, or continuity. And in this behavioristic approach, your Pavlov's classical conditioning comes, then your Skinner's operant conditioning also comes in this behavioristic approach. You know very well. Then what is the limitations of behavioristic approach? The limitations are that this behavioristic approach, it considers human beings as a machine, which may not be true. Human beings are not machines. But according to behavioristic, human beings are just a subject or non-living. No, this is very wrong. That's why it is a limitation, a demerit of behavioristic approach. Second is, this approach explains emotions, thoughts, and actions entirely with reference to only this overt behavior. Then it is very much doubtful if the results derived from controlled experimental studies. So from controlled experimental studies, sometimes some doubtful results comes. So it may not be reliable. So this is another demerit of behavioristic approach. Then come to the cognitive approach of learning. So what is, first we should know what is cognitive approach of learning. So cognitive approach or cognitive word comes from the, cognition is derived from the Latin word cognoscere. Cognoscere means, which means to know or to perceive. Cognoscere means, or cognition comes from the Latin word cognoscere, which means to know or to perceive. Janiba ba dekhiba. Cognitive approach emphasizes and gives importance to cognition or perception in learning. And the three stages or steps of cognitive learning is differentiation, generalization, and reconstruction. In reasoning test for small kids, some questions are given like tiger, bear, rabbit, parrot. Differentiate. So three are animals, one is bird. So in cognitive approach, first differentiation can, then generalization. We generalize that all these things are same characteristics. That means all are birds and those are animals. So first is differentiation, second is generalization, and third thing is reconstruction. When we differentiate between things, then we construct some ideas, we acquire some knowledge, then we generalize things, then we gain some experience. Again, we reconstruct our experience based upon those perception or those generalization or those differentiation. Then, characteristics of cognitive approach. So the main characteristics are, first is cognitive approach. We can say it human. We can also say it as it gives emphasis on insight and it gives emphasis on human mental quotients. Cognitive, because we know very well that the IQ level of the human beings are more than the IQ level of the animals or birds. So, in cognitive approach, generally importance is given to insight and importance is given to human mental processes. And the second thing is, in the cognitive approach, learning is considered as an active and dynamic process. Learning is because when we perceive, when we learn, we must be active. So, active and dynamic process is another main element of cognitive approach. Then in this approach, the perception of learner are processed through differentiation, generalization, and reconstruction. Then the cognitive approach is represented by a dynamic system. Through a dynamic system, we represent the cognitive approach. Then the learner is purposive and interacting with the field of his her goals. In a cognitive process, the learner became purposive. The learner became purposive and he or she interacts with his surroundings and he receives some experience and reaches towards the goal. Then, in this approach, it is the most suited for concept formation, for problem solving, and for other higher mental processes. The cognitive approach is a very important approach for concept formation, for problem solving, and for higher mental processes. Okay. Then, social learning approach. So, what is social learning approaches? We know that human beings are social animals, so social approach should be there, and social approach theories is also very much important for learning. And we can divide this social approach theory into two things: social learning theory and social constructivist approach. First is social learning theory, and the second is social constructivist approach. In social learning theory, Bandura distinguishes acquisition of knowledge, learning with observable performance based on that knowledge. So, Bandura distinguishes acquisition of knowledge or learning with observable performance based on that knowledge. But in social constructivist approach, it is deeply advocated by Vygotsky, and he said that every function in a child's cultural development appears twice, first on the social level and later on the individual level. He said that the function of cultural development that comes in the life of the human beings first in the social context, next in the individual context. So that is the difference between social learning theory and the social constructivist approach. And then humanistic approach to learning. So what is the humanistic approach to learning? We can also say humanistic approach as manism or human beingism. Manism or human beingism, because it gives importance to the human values, human emotions, human instincts. That's why we call it as manism or humanism approach. And the major characteristics of humanistic approach is, first is, it is concerned with the welfare of all human beings. Then the second is, this approach emphasizes on learning in natural environment or of human love. Then it believes in coexistence, because human being cannot live in isolation. So live and let live. or living in coexistence. It believes in living in coexistence. Then it considers the best learning as based on truth, good and beautiful. जोटाके आमे कहूचे सत्य शिव सुंदर, सत्यं शिवं सुंदरम, जहाँ सत्य तहाँ शिव तहाँ सुंदर. So it believes in truth, good and beauty of the nature. Then it believes that learning becomes effective when it is need-based. If learning is need-based, then it is more effective, more successful. There is a need that becomes successful. If you have a need, you should learn driving, then you learn it perfectly. If you have a curiosity, if you have an interest for singing, then you learn it very well. So learning should be need-based. Then it gives emphasis on learning at the higher level, self-transcendence and self-actualization. Then learning is experience-based. Because so many times we may say so many things like experience-based means that in our things are written. But when we experience all those things in our life, our views may change. So learning is always experience-based. That is the truth. Then it emphasizes motivation for this. It is a learner's self-direction and independence. Then it helps learners take more responsibility for determining what they are learning. It helps learners take more responsibility for determining what they are learning. Then it increases learners' reactivity. Then it fosters curiosity. Humanistic approach always fosters curiosity because human beings by nature, they have a curiosity nature. What is this? How is this? How it happens? What is that? What is this? What is that? Where it comes from? All these are in curiosity. So it always fosters curiosity among the learners. The educational implications of all this humanistic approach learning. First is, in humanistic approach, the first importance is given to the place of the child in teaching learning process. Place of the child in the teaching learning process. We know very well that child-centered approach is the most appropriate approach in this sense. Because child teachers are not the storehouse of knowledge. They are just the facilitators. So child is the core of the entire teaching learning process. So child-centered approach is the important approach in this era. Then emphasis on individuality. In humanistic approach, we give importance to the individuality. We know very well that no two individuals are equal, no two persons are equal, neither in their intelligence, nor in their creativity, nor in their interest, nor in their attitude, aptitude, etc. So, importance should be given to their individuality. Then understanding the child, because the main role of the teacher is to understand the students properly, the learners properly. Because in their classroom, so many types of children are there. Some are very much shy, some they are very much soft-spoken, some are very rude, some are intelligent, some are not intelligent, some are creative, some are not creative, some are some have some behavioral problems. So many types of students are there. So it is a role of the teacher. He should understand the child properly, and the methods of teaching should be democratic, and self-discipline and self-control should be maintained in the classroom, and the teacher should play the role of a facilitator. He should not interfere in the teaching learning process of the child. So in humanistic approach, we give importance to the child-centeredness or child-centered approach is followed in humanistic approach of learning. Then, constructivism. What is constructivism? Constructivism is a word which is also 2005 National Curriculum Framework 2005 also gave importance to our constructivism. And constructivism is not a single theory of learning. It is based on ideas proposed by various philosophers, psychologists, anthropologists, and educationists. The constructivism is not an idea of educationists or psychologists only. It is also an idea of constructivism. A child, we should not impose our ideas upon the learner. He construct his own idea, own learning. He should learn through his own experience. He should construct his own idea, own concept. That is constructivism. Construct. से निर्माण करिब निजर भावना को चिंतन को से निजे निर्माण करिब. That is constructivism. Teacher impose करिबनी बाध्य करिबना. This is this, this is that. You should accept that. No, in constructivism, the children, the teacher, after the facilitator, he just gives some ideas. A child construct his own ideas, own learning. So, in constructivism, we give importance to objective approach, and this is a approach. This is not a approach of educationist or psychologist. This is a approach followed by anthropologists and philosophers also. And what are the characteristics of constructivism? So the chief characteristics of constructivism is knowledge is an active meaning making process. Knowledge in an active meaning making process in which learners construct their own meaning. It is not something which is imposed by the teacher on the learner. No teacher's intuition, no teacher's interference is there. The child, the learner will construct his own ideas and experience. Then learners have their own ideas about a situation. He will construct his own ideas and he will give his own ideas in different situations, what he experienced. He just give, no imposition. Then the third thing is learner's social and cultural background has its significant impact on learners' ideas. The social and cultural background also has a very significant impact upon the learning of the child. Because our social and cultural, if a Hindu child, he learns so many things from his temple. If a Muslim child, he learns so many things from his masjid. If he's a Christian, he learns so many things from his church. So, cultural, social, religious, all background has an significant impact upon learners' ideas. Then learners construct their knowledge through interaction, perception, and experience. The learners construct their knowledge through interaction, perception, and experience. First, they interact with each other. Then they perceive something. Then, through their experience, they construct their own knowledge. No imposition by the teacher. By Dewey, Piaget, Vygotsky, they have given different types of constructivist ideas to the theory of constructivism, but the time is limited, so we go to the constructive learning environment. So what is the constructive learning environment? In constructive learning environment, that means when we are giving importance to constructivism, the educational institutions or the teachers, they should provide such an environment where constructivist ideas come from the students. Or students will be given freedom. Our environment should be, or a conducive constructivist environment should be provided to the students. Then only we can say we are giving them an environment where this constructive approach of learning can be followed. So what are the characteristics of constructive environment? And what is the characteristics of constructive teachers? First, what are the characteristics of a constructive teacher? So, a constructive environment is always created by a constructive teacher. So, the teacher plays an important role in to construct an environment which is conducive or which we can call as a constructive environment. So, according to Brooks and Brooks in 1993, he has given so many ideas about constructivist teachers. So, he said that for constructivist teachers, that the constructivist teachers, they encourage and accept learners' autonomy and initiative. They should encourage and accept learners' autonomy and initiative. That means maximum freedom, maximum liberty should be given to the students to take initiative. Because if we will not give them freedom, then they may not do properly. So maximum freedom should be given to the learners in constructivist environment. Then use a wide variety of materials, including raw data, primary sources, and interactive materials, and encourage learners to use them. So, a wide variety of materials should be given to the students for their primary source, and they interact with them, and the learners should be encouraged to do something with that data. Then, inquire about learners' understandings of concepts before sharing his or her own understanding of those concepts. So, the teachers should be very much careful. He should listen to the students, what the students are saying, what the learners are saying. He should not impose his or her own ideas upon the children. That this is that. No. First, he should listen carefully. Listen uh, properly. What ideas, what understanding, what concepts the students are giving. He first listen the students. Then encourage them to engage in dialogue with the teacher and with one another. He encourages the students to interact with the teacher and also interact with their co-friends, classmates. Then encourage learners inquiry by asking thoughtful, open-ended questions and encourage learners to ask questions to each other and seek elaboration of learners' initial responses. So, a democratic atmosphere should be given. Democratic atmosphere means liberty should be given. Students are free to ask questions to each other, and out of that, so many innovative new ideas may come up. And after that, taking all the ideas, the students sum up with some positive ideas and incorporate, or he teach the, or he give those ideas to the learners. Then engage learners in experiences that show contradictions to initial understandings and then encourage discussion. So first, encourage learners in experiences. First, learners should be encouraged by sharing their experiences, then encourage them for discussion. So, after sharing their experiences, so many positive things may come. Then provide time for learners to construct relationships and create metaphors. So, the teacher should provide time for learners to construct relationships and create metaphors. That means they should construct what is the relationship between this element and that element, what is the relationship between this situation and that situation. So, that should be encouraged. Then only they can develop a concept. Then access learners' understanding through application and performance of open structured tasks. So these are all characteristics of a constructivist teacher. So the main role of constructivist teacher is he should be tolerant, he should provide a democratic atmosphere, he should listen to the learners patiently, then he interfere and tell his own ideas to the learners. Then how learning takes place. First is how learning takes place. First is scaffolding. Through scaffolding, or scaffolding can be defined in simpler terms as a technique to provide right kind of support in right amount of right time to increase child's right kind of support, right amount in right time. Three things are included in scaffolding. First is right kind of support, right kind, right amount, and right time. So, in scaffolding, what the teachers do? The teachers help the students. He gives some hints, he gives some time, and he gives some informations to the child. Then the children will get some scope to develop their concepts. Then cognitive apprenticeship. In cognitive apprenticeship, five things are included. First is modeling, second is coaching, third is scaffolding, fourth is articulation, fifth is reflection, and sixth is exploration. So, what is modeling? Modeling means observing the performance of an expert. Modeling means observing the performance of an expert. Who is the expert? Expert means the teacher or the experienced peer. He is the modeling. Because in our classroom, sometimes the teachers, they engage the bright students or the monitors who have a good understanding, who have a better IQ level. They act as the modeler also. So modeling means observing the performance of the teachers and the experienced peers. And in coaching means giving extra reminders, etc. In coaching, what happens now? We give external support to the students by in form of hints, feedback, and reminders. And in scaffolding, helping learners in starting and gradually fading the support. In proper time, proper thing, proper things. That is scaffolding. And next is articulation. Articulation means giving words to their understanding of the process of content. Giving words to their understanding of the process of content. In the process of content, just give them particular understanding. What is this? What is that? That is articulation. Then reflection means comparing their performance with expectations, reflecting on progress, improving their own performance. Reflection means comparing their performance with expectations, reflecting on progress, improving their own performance. Then exploration means searching for new information, verifying to accept it as authentic knowledge. So in exploration, we search new information and verify those things and accept it as authentic knowledge. This is true. This is authentic. So this is about the methods, the models of cognitive apprenticeship. Then come to discovery learning. So what is discovery learning? The discovery learning is also accepted as a very good approach of learning nowadays, because students, they are very much knowledgeous, very much intelligent, and they know so many things. And teachers are the facilitators, so they always want to do some experiments. They discover things from here and there. So discovery learning is also a very accepted approach nowadays. And discovery learning was proposed by Brunner as learning by discovery of concept and principles by the learners on their own. So it is an approach which is discovered by Brunner. And discovery learning is not a teacher-centered approach. Here also, the students are given maximum freedom. They just inquire things, they discover things, they search things, they research things, and they know what is the real fact, what is the real thing, what is the fact, what is authentic. So, discovery learning is also called as guided discovery learning. And in discovery learning discovery learning is divided into 3 types: inductive reasoning, intuitive thinking, and guided discovery. So, in inductive reasoning, Brunner was of the opinion that in classroom, general principles should be formulated by the learners with the help of various examples in different contexts. Connections between different concepts can be established through this process. So, main concept is given, and students in intuitive learning, Brunner was of the opinion that students can learn by their own, discover the things, and come to the conclusion which is right and which is wrong. And they can differentiate between which is right and which is wrong because they discover things by themselves. They experience, they gain some knowledge, first-hand knowledge by their own. So always human beings, they believe themselves. Nobody believes others. Everybody believes who? Myself. They believe me, myself. So in inductive reasoning, Brunner give importance that in classroom, general principles should be formulated. Then in intuitive thinking, Brunner suggested that teachers should encourage learners to think and guess with help of some incomplete sentences, task or situation. Some half things should be given, half puzzle things should be given. Then the teacher should see what the students are doing, whether they are able to complete it or not. Full completed things should not be given. Half completed things or puzzle things should be given to the students. Then the students, they inquire here and there, and out of their own insight they can solve their problem. And in guided discovery, what happens? Some experienced persons are there, like the teachers. They just guide the students what to do and what not to do. So because students, they learn so many things, they gather so many informations, but sometimes they are confused that what is right and what is wrong. At that time, it is the duty of the teacher as a facilitator. He should clarify the doubts, he should clarify the confusions, he should give some complete permanent learning, he should give the positive, and he should give some fact or truth in front of the learners. Then only the students will be able to solve their problems, and they can come to a conclusion that this is right, this is positive, or this is favorable, this is the fact. So in guided discovery, the students are given liberty, freedom to discover things, and when they uh, get some information, and if that information confuses them, at the time teacher or the facilitator, he just help the students, or he formulates some hypothesis, and he also helps them to come to the conclusion. So this is all about the guided research. Then comes to active learning. What is active learning? We know that learning, at the time of learning, everyone is active. Without activeness, learning may not be possible, because passively we may not learn. We have to be active. So active learning means at the time of learning, we should be active. But in our days, what happened? And that the teachers only at that time lecture method was followed. But nowadays, group discussion is there, focus group discussion is there, project method is there. So students became very much active in the classroom. In a group, they are doing so many things. So active learning, in active learning, what are the strategies? What strategies should be followed? First is visual-based instruction. Visual-based instruction should be followed. Then creative writing is another thing. The teacher should give a topic and said the students write something. What you or give your own view regarding this particular topic. So that is creative writing. Then problem solving. The teachers should give some problem to the students and said, according to your own learning, own experience, you solve the problem. So many different types of techniques may be followed, but you solve the problem. So problem solving is another strategy of active learning. Then computer-based instruction. Computer-based instruction is another strategy for active learning. Then cooperative learning. In cooperative learning, what happens? The children with their peer group, other friends, they just take a problem and cooperatively they solve the problem. That is cooperative learning. And through drama, also active learning may happen. In drama, we just memorize things and we represent it through action. So that is also active learning. Then role playing and simulation and games. Role playing, simulation and games are also some examples of active learning. Then observational learning. So what is observational learning? Observational learning means through observation we also learn so many things. Like I have already told you that through observation, a child observes or perceives the situation and he learns. So observation plays an important role in our learning process. So in observational learning, Bandura experimented Babodol experiment. In Babodol experiment, Bandura showed 3 cinemas to the small kids. In one cinema, the Babodol was beaten by some people. The second cinema, the criminals, they are awarded for their activities. Second cinema, they are criticized by the persons, by the
Dr. Nanda.
Sir, am I audible?
Yes, yes, right now you're audible. Sometime, your video was freezed. Okay, please go ahead.
In Babodol experiment, in first cinema, the persons who beat the Babodol, they are rewarded. In the second cinema, they are criticized. And in the third cinema, no action is there. And after some times, small kids, they just slept in a room and the teacher is not there. The teacher outside, the teacher just observed the kids. They saw so many children, they are just beating the Babodol. That means when reward is there, praise is there, generally students observe that and imitates that. So reward and punishment plays an important role in our learning process. So what are the elements in observational learning? There are four elements in observational learning. The first is attention, second is retention, third is production, and fourth is motivation. I have already told you. In attention stage, what happens? The students become attentive. They know, they perceive things, that what is this, what is that, what is the relationship between the elements, what is the differentiation between all elements. Then they got some experience, and what they acquire knowledge, what experience they gain, they just retain those experience with them. Then in third stage, what experience they gain, they retain them. Again, they produce those experience in different situations. That is production stage. And in production, after production, if the thing which they give to the society or which they present to their friends, if that was rewarded or awarded or praised, then they are motivated and they again create so many other things. So 4 things are included in observational learning. First is attention, retention, production, and motivation. So what is the significance of observational learning? As a teacher, you can use observational learning in the subject like mathematics, science, geography, etc. So observational learning can be used in all these subjects. Then observational learning is helpful in introduction of new behavior. In introduction of new behavior, observational learning is very good because we don't know how to behave. I am giving an example. When I was in class 4. In that time, we learned English at class 4. So how to speak in English, I don't know. Someday, one of the friend of my father, he called over telephone. He told, yes, Mr. Nanda is speaking. I say, no. Then, where is he? I told him, he is not here. I don't know how to speak in English. So when he said that, then inform your father that I am Mr. Potti. I am unable to listen his name properly. So again I repeated. I should ask his name. Then if I will not know his name, then how I could be able to tell my father that one of his friend is calling. So I asked his name, but I don't know how to ask properly. So I asked him, what is your name? And after some days, when my elder sister told me, you don't know English, then how you ask Patel uncle that who is speaking, who is calling our father? Then I tell her that I ask him what is name. No, this is not the proper way. You should ask like that. May I know your name, please? But at that time, I don't know. So after observation, my elder sister is talking with some other person in over telephone with some other person, and I learn all these etiquettes, behaviors from her. So through observation also we learn so many things. So in observation, learning is very much uh, beneficial for the small children. Then situated learning. What is situated learning? Situated learning is the method in which learning takes place in the circumstances for which learning required. That means it takes place in the circumstances where the learning is required. Suppose in a problematic situation, in your classroom, if something happened and your class has been interrupted, at that time, what you will do? And the children will learn what are the strategies should be adopted by the teacher at that situation. So in situational learning, we give some information or a child can learn from the situation. So it is not bookish knowledge. It comes instantly, informally. So what are the components of situational learning? The components of situated learning is content, context. So content, context, community, and participation. It is not a formal, it is informal. Instantly it comes. So content, context, community, and participation. These are 4 components of situated learning. So what are the conceptions about situated learning? The conceptions about situation learning is knowledge is not thing and memory is not a place. Rather, it is created socially. Knowledge not a thing, rather it is created in the society. Then learning, knowing and cognition develop socially through tasks performed by the person. Then meaning are developed through affiliation with specific context and objectives. It happens in a particular situation. So the meanings are developed through affiliation with specific context and objectives. Then cultural model doesn't exist within person, rather it alive in social practices. So cultural model does not exist with person, rather it alive in social practices. Like I am a Hindu person or I am a Christian person. Students may not learn all Christian principles from me, but at the time of situation, but in the social practices, in December 25th or in Easter Saturday, they learn so many things what Christians do, but not from the person, but from the situation. So what is collaborative? Then come to the collaborative learning. So what is collaborative learning? Collaborative learning is a situation in which two or more persons are involved and learn together. In classrooms, generally, collaborative learning nowadays that is happening. That means in collaboration. So many persons are there. Teachers are there, students are there. In joint collaboration, they learn. That's why that is called collaborative learning. In collaborative learning, what happens? What strategies are adopted? Generally, think, pair, share. Think and pair, share. First thing, then share your experiences with each other. Then catch up. What ideas come from others? Just catch up. Then fish bowl debate. Fish bowl debates means we debating upon that concept and share the knowledge and experiences. Then case study. Through case study also collaborative learning can be happen. In case study, a particular case study, through particular case study, so many informations we can gather and we can share those knowledge information with each other. Then turn-based learning. So these are the strategies of collaborative learning. So last thing is the various dimensions of learning for out of school children. So all are not in the school. So many out of school children are there. And what type of learning or what strategy or what approaches should be followed for these out of school children? First is lifelong learning. Learning is a lifelong process. But in formal schools, we learn in a particular age. But in open learning system, we can learn in later period also. So lifelong learning and life-wide learning and life deep learning. These are the three things which comes under this learning for out of school children. Nowadays, some bridge courses are there. Then some condensed courses are there, which are generally meant for the children who are out of school. And some open universities like your IGNOU, your state open universities, NIOS, National Open Schools, so many institutions are there who are providing education or learning to these out of school children. So this is all about your learning and teaching. Thank you.
Thank you. Yes, yes. Thank you, Dr. Nanda. You have nicely touched upon all the concepts which are presented there in block 1 of your BES-123, that is teaching and learning. And there are many things which are new to the learners, because our course has been updated. The B.Ed course has been updated. Earlier there was something else there in the study material, but now all the updated contents have been presented. And like your situational learning, then collaborative learning, all these things. So our learners must have understood fully, and if they need further clarification, they can refer their study materials. Proper explanations are there. And now it is time for interaction. So dear students, if you want to put forth your question, you can write your question in the chat box, so so that we can take up the questions one after another. We can take up the questions one after another and start responding to them. Yes, Dr. Nanda, can you reply to this question?
What is Sir, someone asked, what is constructivism?
Yes.
So I have already told you, constructivism means we are constructing our ideas, our experiences. Here, the learner is important, not the teacher. Nowadays, teachers, they don't impose their knowledge, their experience, their ideas upon the children or the learner. They learn by self. They construct their own ideas, own concepts. So through their own experience, they should be given ample facilities, ample opportunities to construct their ideas. No imposition is there, no interference of the teacher is there. Because teachers are the only facilitators. Teachers just give them hints, give hints, tips, or facilitate them. What is this? What is that? But they can construct their own ideas. They should not impose that this is a concept written in the book. No, if a child, no, I read all these things. 2 days before, a young man, a neighbor boy of near my neighbor, young boy of my neighbor, he told me that what written in the Mahabharata. Do you think, madam, that is correct? Why are you asking such type of questions? In that area, the population of India is this, and they say that 2.5 lakhs warriors are died in Mahabharata. So nowadays they construct their. When I say that I am not in that era, you are not in that era. Go through the internet, go through the books, go through the granthas, and construct your own ideas. I simply doesn't know, and I don't want to argue with you because from Mahabharata we know our Bhagavad Gita come up. So I don't argue with you. You just construct your own ideas.
As such, learning is nothing but knowledge construction.
Yes.
We every day, every minute, every second, we are constructing a different kind of knowledge, and
Yes.
we are keeping them.
And when that may be favorable, that may be unfavorable, that may be true, may not be true, that may be positive, that may be negative. But after one, when we are confronting with so many types of problems, and when we feel that previous knowledge is not helpful for the new situation, we again change our behavior. We learn something more. We gain some more knowledge. So that means that is the reconstruction of our behavior, and we are just leaving the old experiences sometimes and gain some new experience and construct some new ideas also.
Okay. The second question is learning. Somebody is asking, Jinarani Padi, learning is always active. Learning is always positive. Is the negative actions cause learning?
No, learning may be negative. Suppose for Nakshals, for the terrorists, they learn so many things. We may not say that they don't learn the things. They are knowledgeous. There are also some engineers are there. They learn negative things and they are working for the destruction of the society. But in positive cases, positive learning means we should work for the welfare of the society, for the well-being of the nation, for the welfare of the humanity. But we may not say that learning may be positive or may be negative. But positive learning is permanent.
Actually, you see, every action, or which is shown by every individual cannot be taken up as learning, because as you have rightly said, there are many things which are not socially positively directed.
Acceptable, socially acceptable.
Yeah, socially acceptable,
Or
or it is not.
acceptable or based on social ethics.
Yes. So those things cannot be accepted, and we cannot take them as learning. Okay, then next
So like
question. Okay, fine. The next question is, uh, what is insight? Clarify learning by insight. Sasmita Sahu is asking.
insight means uh, as human beings we have intelligence, And sometimes we feel that all of a sudden an idea came to our mind, and that help us to solve our problems. Sometimes we are working with a problem for some minutes, some hours. Still, we are puzzling with that problem. But all of a sudden, idea came to our mind, and we solved that problem. That means that is insight. That is within us, and that in a flash, in a sudden, that comes to our mind. That is learning by insight.
Okay. So then Prasanna Maji is asking, creativity sir, why did you participate in the live video? You should study all about by use your study material. What is it? Mr. Prasanna Maji, what do you want to ask if you are listening to me? In the live video, you should study all about.
Sir, I am not getting.
Yeah, he's writing, in a differently. Mr. Prasanna Maji, if you are online, you are writing something like, creativity sir, why did you participate in the live video? You should study all about by use your study material. What is the meaning? I fail to understand. Anyway.
Sir, actually in previous message, he asked that madam, you skip that 2.53 Jean Piaget cognate approach to learning. So another student, sir, replied that read in your book. After that, he replied that creativity, sir, why did you participate in the live video? You should study all about by user study material. So skip this, sir. We will discuss about questions, sir.
No, actually, you see, if you start interacting among yourselves like this, there will be confusion. There will be confusion.
Yes, sir. So my request also, sir, Prasanna Maji, sir, please don't discuss in this group, kindly.
Prasanna Maji, yeah, listen to me, Mr. Prasanna Maji, if you are listening to me, if you want to discuss anything with your peer group, you are welcome. You just discuss with your peer group, but not in this particular forum. This particular forum is to ask question to the counselor only. Okay. If you have any question related to the subject or the system, you can write that question in the chat box so that we can take up and respond. Okay. Then, is there any other question? Yeah, so Subhasmita Sahu is asking, can we make any change in students' IQ level through our teaching method and behavior towards the student? Should I respond to it?
Yes, sir. IQ level, a teacher cannot change the IQ level, but facilitate, because we are using only 3 to 5% of our intelligence in our lifetime. So, if we are involving ourselves in different types of activities, then only our brain become active and our IQ will work. That may develop or may not develop, but that will work properly. And she is also asking another question. What's creativity?
No, I just want to add one line to it. You see, Subhaspita, your question is regarding IQ. You must have heard about a constancy of IQ. There is a term in our psychology, constancy of IQ. IQ is innate, and that cannot be changed through your teaching method. Through effective teaching method, you can make a complex thing simpler in front of the student, or you can make the student understand a complex thing easily. So teaching method is different. Okay. And IQ is something which is innate, isn't it? It is innate. It is inborn. Okay. Then another question is, Jina Rani Padhi, sir, is all behavioral changes cause learning? Absolutely not. Yes. Jina Rani Padhi, I would like to respond to this particular question. You see, all behavioral changes cannot be termed as learning. For example, you see a drunkard. if a person takes wine and behave differently or changes his behavior differently, then can we say that that person is can you say that learning has taken place in that particular person? We cannot say. Learning cannot, change of behavior with the influence of drug, or change of behavior if somebody is falling ill, or change of behavior through any external, external force, cannot be termed as, learning. Learning is no doubt termed as a permanent change in behavior, but this kind of change in behavior cannot be termed as learning, isn't it? Then Chinmay Kumar Dharua is asking, what is tutoring? You can respond. Dr. Nanda, you can respond. What is tutoring? Jayashree madam, are you able to listen to me? Jayashree madam?
Sir,
Are
you
you
are
able
not
to?
audible. Sir, you are not audible.
My microphone is on. My microphone is on.
Sir, again.
Yes, somebody is asking, what is tutoring?
Okay. So tutoring means when we are giving some ideas or experience, or when we are talking about a particular syllabus or particular curriculum to a child, that is tutoring. For a particular purpose, when we are teaching a students, not in a formal setup, that is tutoring.
Exactly. It is a part of teaching. We can say.
Yes, sir.
It is a part of teaching. When we are
But not in a
providing some
formal
help, when we are providing some academic help to the student, when we are providing some support to support academically to the student, this is a kind of tutoring. Then what more? Any question, dear students? If you have any other question, or if you want to ask question, you also come. You can also come online.
Good afternoon, madam. Madam, kindly explain that JD and JPD, zone of proximal development and
Okay.
zone of actual development.
Yes. Zone of proximal development is Vygotsky's idea is zone of proximal development. In zone of proximal development, what happens now? Four stages are there. Four stages are involved in this. First is the assistance provided by more knowledgeable persons or capable peers. In our classroom, some capable peers are there, or some more intelligent students are there. Assistance is given by them. Then in second stage, assistance provided by self. With by self, we also assist ourselves. And in third stage, automatization through practice. In fourth stage, we de-automatization and reconstructiveness through the previous three stages. So in first stage, we take the assistance of the peer group. Second, assistance is provided by the self. Third thing is automatization. And in fourth stage, de-automatization of the reconstructivist thought to the previous three stages. That is, we can call the JPD or zonal.
Let me add to some extent to this. You see, normally there are three stages or three layers. In one layer, the learner is able to perform by himself or herself without any support. And in the second layer, if you provide support, then only the learner will be able to do or perform certain thing. So this is the zone of proximal development. And there is third layer where the learner is not able to perform even if you provide support or help to the student. So the middle layer is called the zone of proximal development. That is, if you provide support, the learner will be able to perform, or the learner will be able to succeed in his performance. So this is the zone of proximal development. Okay, so any other question? Samgita Mahanti is asking, about cognitive apprenticeship. Explain cognitive apprenticeship.
Sir, what? Cognitive?
Cognitive apprenticeship.
In cognitive apprenticeship, what happens? For the cognitive development of the learners, some training, some problems or some projects are given to the learners, and through problem solving method, they solve those problems, and through that approach, we can develop our mental ability. So that is called cognitive apprentice approach.
Okay. There is another question by Amresh Parida. He wants to know about scaffolding.
Yes. In scaffolding, what happens? Already, I have told you in scaffolding, there are 4 things are included in scaffolding. First is we first in scaffolding in 3 stages are involved. First, in we do those things.
Okay, you can go ahead, no problem. Your voice is not coming. Madam, your voice is not coming. Madam, please unmute your microphone. Your microphone is muted. Yes, yes. Now it is unmuted. Jayashree madam, your voice is not audible to us. Madam, you are not audible to us. Madam, your voice is not audible. Dear students, is she audible to all of you?
No, sir.
No, there is.
She is not audible, sir.
Okay, there is some problem there in the audio of our counselor. So let me respond to that scaffolding. Scaffolding is, it's a kind of initial support to the student. You see, sometimes the learners face difficulty in understanding a particular concept or in performing a particular job. If you give them support, then they will gradually pick up things and proceed. Once they proceed, then you can withdraw your support. You withdraw your support, and the child will no more require your support, and he himself or herself will proceed ahead. For example, your aeroplane. In order to fly, the aeroplane needs 3 wheels to go in the runway, isn't it? So that kind of support, once the plane started flying, then automatically these wheels comes inside. So there is absolutely no need of the wheel. It is absolutely like that. When you are casting your roof, when you are constructing your house and casting your roof, what is required? You are giving support, and then you are giving brick, your chips and mortar, cement, sand, etc. And then after it gets harder, then you withdraw the support, and the roof gets stuck there on the 4 walls of the room. So it is just like that. The child initially needs support, but that support is not required. If he or she picks up things, then that support is not required. You can withdraw the support, and the child himself or herself will march ahead. Okay. So any other question?
Hello, sir.
Yes, please.
Hello, sir.
Yes.
Sir, who are the kinesthetic
Kinesthetic learner.
learners? Sir.
Okay. Is that concept there in your study material? Kinesthetic.
sir. Visual learners, auditory learners, and kinesthetic learners.
Okay. Okay. Madam, if you can respond.
Yes, sir. Sir, learners, those who learn
Figures,
through
okay.
figures. Learn through
The
figures.
learners who learns through
Those are
figures.
figures.
Okay.
First, learners, heart means visual learners, audio learners, then learners reading, writing, and learners who learn through figures. Those are called
Okay.
kinesthetic learners.
Through fingers. You mean to say fingers?
Figures.
Okay.
Pictures, the figures.
Okay. So you see, complete explanation is there in your study material. In case, because it is practically not possible to touch each and every content of your block within this short span of time, that is 2 hours. So if there is anything left out, please go through your study material. Of course, you can also write that question in our email ID, which can be subsequently responded back. Okay.
Good afternoon, sir.
Good afternoon.
Sir, my question is, what is spiral curriculum?
Spiral curriculum.
Spiral curriculum.
Yes, sir.
Is it there in today's presentation? Is it there in this particular block?
Yes, sir.
Okay. So which page number can you refer?
Sir,
Spiral curriculum. Sir, I just don't know what is spiral curriculum. In which page?
Okay, no problem. No problem, dear student. Okay. So tomorrow there will be another class. So this particular question will be answered tomorrow. Madam, please go through this particular question.
Sir, what is this spiral curriculum?
Spiral curriculum.
Okay.
Yes,
Spiral curriculum. So please
Pranam,
just.
sir.
Okay, I will clarify it tomorrow.
Pranam, sir.
Pranam.
Sir, I think spiral curriculum is which is flexible for the students. We teach it. It is not. It not mean that unit wise.
You meant to say it is flexible curriculum.
Yes, sir.
Okay.
That means it is easy for unit 1. So it is unit 1. Then the part is unit 3. So we teach unit 3. Then we lastly come to unit 2.
So as per the convenience of the teacher, the subject can be taught, isn't it? So the curriculum should be taken up as per the convenience of the teacher and convenience of the learner. You meant to say that, isn't it?
Yes, sir.
Okay, okay. So you
So I
see
will see
different.
it tomorrow.
Tomorrow,
I will
please
tell you
go through.
tomorrow.
Okay, okay. Any other question?
Sir, namaste.
Namaskar.
Sir, namaste.
Namaskar.
Sir,
Please.
I want to know about the difference between life-wide learning and life-deep learning.
Life-wide learning and life-deep learning.
Yes, sir.
Life-wide learning means throughout life. And life-deep learning means which is required in the present situation, the need of the hour. Situational learning is life-deep learning and lifelong learning is life-wide learning.
Thank you, madam. Madam, another.
Yes?
Hello, madam.
Yes.
Another question is how learning is comprehensive.
How learning is?
Comprehensive.
Comprehensive.
Yes, madam.
Comprehensive.
Madam.
Yes. How learning is comprehensive. What is the meaning of comprehension? Comprehension means wide or continuous or a grow. So comprehensive learning means learning is not static. Learning is not static. It is flexible. It is continuous. It is a never-ending process. So learning is comprehensive means in a broader sense we can say learning is comprehensive. Or learning can run throughout our life from birth to death, from womb to tomb. it is a continuous process, it is a never ending process, or it is a process, or it is a journey towards an endless perfection. Learning is a journey towards endless perfection.
Good afternoon, madam.
Please go ahead. Ask your question.
Good afternoon. Ma'am, I want you please explain in very brief the elements of observational learning. Those are attention, retention, production, and motivation.
Yes. Yes.
Madam, my question is just you.
Again, you don't
no, ma'am.
understand
You
what
just
is.
highlight about the elements of observational learning. Those are attention, retention, production, and motivation.
Okay. So first, attention. In attention stage, we should be active. We should know what is our requirement. We should be active. What is our curiosity level? What is our goal in attention stage? And in retention stage, what we gain, what we acquire, what type of knowledge we acquire, what ideas we gain, the valid knowledge, the valid things retained with us, and the invalid and unnecessary things we just throughout. So the retention stage, we just acquire knowledge, we retain some knowledge, and then is the production. In production stage, what knowledge we gain, we just produce some creative things, some innovative things, and again we became motivated, and again that process is going on. That's why it is a cyclic process. So attention, retention, production, and motivation.
Okay, thank you.
Any other question?
Okay. Now it is already 24 minutes past 4 o'clock. I think it is time for winding up. So, dear students, we had a marathon session today that was on teaching and learning. And whole lot of things have been presented. And Dr. Joyasri Nanda has very nicely touched upon almost all the concepts which are presented in your block 1. But then sky is the limit. There are many more things which you yourself can find inside the study material, and you can also analyze things, synthesize things, and get to know many more things, because the study material is just the skeleton. Our study material normally, you'll get the complete idea, but you can relate the presentation of the study material to some other resources which are available outside, and you can get a concrete picture of different things which are presented there. So please devise that methodology and get to know other things also which is related to the present the present concept which is there in block 1. And tomorrow we shall be dealing with block 2. So Dr. Nanda will come with block 2, and the presentation will continue, of course, with your support. Today's participation was very active. All of you have actively participated and put forth your questions and views, and it was really lively, because this is learning. Learning cannot be passive. Learning should be active. Okay. So if you actively participate, you can learn more. So with this brief remark, I thank you, Jayasri Madam, and thank you all, dear students. So tomorrow we are meeting.
Thank you, sir. Thank you.
Exactly at 2 p.m. Thank you very much.
Thanks both of you, sir.
Thank you, sir. Thank you, madam.
Thank you.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you very much, ma'am.
Thank you, ma'am.
फोन करके काटी दिन क्लास नउथिल त टिकनुर कहू क କହିଲେ ଆସିଛୁ କି କଣ ବୋଲି ଦାଦା ତ ଦେବି ଦେବି ପରଦିନ ଯେମିତି ଆଣିକି ଦେଇଦେବି ହେଲା ଆଜି କଣ ଏଇ କ୍ଲାସ ପାଇଁ ଟିକେ ବ୍ୟସ୍ତ ରହୁଛି ପଢାପଢି ବହୁତ ହେଲା ବାହାରିକି ହେଇପାରିଲିନି ଚାରିଟା ବେଳେ ସାଢେ 8:30 ପଚାରି ଚାଲିଛି